If you're posting consistently on LinkedIn, but you're not getting the lead you want, it's not because your content doesn't work. It's because you're doing three things wrong. And most founders don't even realize it. I work with B2B service business owners to help them drive pipeline using LinkedIn. And I see this pattern all the time. And after highlighting these three mistakes, I'm going to give you the one content type that you can put into your mix this week to start driving inbound leads and the ratio in which to use it, because that one is very important. If you like learning how to get the most out of LinkedIn, make sure to subscribe to this channel because I post about this stuff every week. So you're posting regularly, you're getting the likes, you're getting the comments, but you're not getting any inbound leads. And it's easy to understand why you feel confused and frustrated. I felt exactly the same way until I discovered this. Because if you don't break out of the cycle, what happens is you either give up or you double down on doing random posts when the inspiration strikes. So let's talk about the very first mistake, not doing enough volume. I know it's going to be unpopular to say this, but the key point that I want to drive home is that content is data. Data requires repetition, and repetition requires volume. And you can't really optimize something that you don't do often enough. And when I say often, I mean practicing the skill weekly. Doesn't mean you need to be creating content from scratch every day, but it does mean that every week you're prioritizing content. So I'll give you an example of someone who's doing just enough, but not enough to get real results quickly. So if you're in the camp of posting 1 to 2 times per week consistently, that's not enough signal to tell LinkedIn, hey, this kind of content works with my audience. You don't really have enough volume there to get feedback loops. And it's very hard to get pattern recognition. So I just finished a challenge where I've spent the last 100 days posting every single day on LinkedIn. Now, over that period of time, I've been able to get 100 data points where I can pick 10 of the best and 10 of the worst. If you're posting once a week over the same 13-week period, your top 10% is about one post and your bottom 10% is about one post. So you can't really see any patterns in that. It's the same when you go to the gym. If you want to either, put on weight or lose weight, it usually involves some form of strength training. Now, if you're only doing that once a week compared to someone who's in the gym 3 to 5 times a week, who's going to get the faster results? Case in point. Now, mistake number 2 that I see people make is writing for the wrong buyer. So what I'm about to say will change how you think about doing business development. So you want to get a 5-star prospect. And what qualifies them to be a 5-star prospect is they have a big problem, they want to fix it now, they're willing to engage with you in a dialogue, they're aligned with your values, i.e. you like them as a person, and they have the budget for your solution. Unless they tick all 5 of those boxes, they're not a 5-star prospect. And that's what we want in our business, or at least it's what my clients want in theirs. Now, those 5 things are really important because there's only 3 states that one of your potential buyers is in. They're problem avoidant, i.e. they either don't know they have a problem or it's not really a priority for them right now. They're problem aware, so they know they have a problem. And then the third phase is they're solution aware. I'm going to talk a bit about those in a minute. But if you're liking this so far, please make sure to hit the like button so it tells YouTube that these videos are worth watching. Now, something you don't want to do when it comes to writing for your audience is you don't want to waste your energy trying to convince people who either don't know they have a problem or don't see it as a big enough problem today. So I used to network a lot. I was the president of BNI chapter for a year. I was in that group for about 3 years all up. And the whole idea, if you're not familiar with BNI, is you would get up and you would pitch your business every week. The whole idea is to generate referral marketing. And I knew a health and safety specialist who was in our group, and she specialized in construction. However, the nature of BNI is you have lots of different professions in that room. So their approach was, rather than be specific to construction, the messaging was every single person in this room needs health and safety. They need to be safety compliant because safe work will come after you and get you. And I look back on that and I think that was a total waste of airtime, because Taking that approach, the message lands on deaf ears from most of the room, especially the white-collar professionals whose biggest daily risk is getting a paper cut. And on top of that, it wasn't specific enough to help those in construction who are aware they had that problem, because the risk in construction is so much higher. So this video that you're watching right now is a problem-aware video. I'm not wasting time trying to convince you of the merits of LinkedIn. The nature of the title will only get clicked by people who already post on LinkedIn and aren't getting the results they want. And the goal of this video is to help people like you get to the next level of awareness, solution aware. These are people who know they have a problem and they're actively looking for solutions to solve it. This is the state that all of your buyers are in when they decide to book a meeting with you, which segues nicely into the third mistake B2B founders make, is they either don't post any conversion content to help those people, or they're on the other extreme of the spectrum where they post too much self-promotional content. So you'll notice on LinkedIn that a lot of founders with great engagement, posting a lot of thoughts, a lot of lessons, a lot of stories. These are great for awareness and engagement, which is why they make up a big part of a good content strategy. But a lot of business owners either over or under index on offer content, authority content, aka humble bragging about your achievements, or call to action content where you ask people for their email or to write a keyword in the comments. So you'll notice this a lot with bigger creators. They'll say, comment the word GPT and I'll send you my guide, because on the back end, they have systems in place to help automatically connect with those people who are interested. Now, if everything you post is the same angle, your results will remain the same too. But I'm going to tell you two stories from both sides of the spectrum, which I hope will help drive it home for you. I had a prospective client the other week who had an engineering background. He had an awesome battery his company designed for solar companies, but he was unhappy with the posts he wrote not getting enough engagement. I audited his profile, and every single post was either get in touch and reach out, here's an award we just won, this is why we're the best. Now, self-promotion is not wrong, but it will always get lower engagement. So you need to mix in content that is helpful to people too, not just self-promotion. Then on the other side of the spectrum, last week I spoke to someone who was posting regularly 3 times a week, and they weren't making any sales at all. Sure enough, I looked at their profile, and all they had were selfies and stories without a single call to action post. Now, the reason a lot of people end up falling into this trap is usually out of fear of being too salesy, or in the other extreme, fear of not making sales from your content effort. There's usually also a lack of structure about what to post when. They think of LinkedIn content like it's a billboard rather than a system. And certainly with people who have a fear of being salesy, what inevitably happens is you get lower vanity metrics on promotional content. So there's less of a dopamine hit. In that 100 days, it's actually my lower performing posts in terms of impressions that drove the most leads. And it makes complete sense because naturally a much smaller pool of people are ready to buy right now versus people who are interested in, a general life story. And in terms of numbers on that, my best ever performing post got 35,000 impressions, but not a single lead. But on the other end of the spectrum in terms of metrics, my best ever performing post lead gen wise in the last 100 days got 10 likes, 1,000 impressions, but drove 4 inbound leads from someone who's seen the post and decided, I want to speak to that guy. See, if I titled this video, create a signal campaign to auto DM people who engage with your CTA posts on LinkedIn, you probably wouldn't have clicked and discovered me because you weren't aware of the solution yet. But I can also set my watch to the fact that video will get me more leads when it comes time to publish it. See, content isn't about expression as such. It's about progression. So you build up enough volume to get reliable data. You have a structure so that you can use what you're doing inside your content to drive conversations. And then you have an overall system to help a continual flow of inbound leads. So here's what to do instead. It's a simple framework that anyone can do. Get your volume up. If you're on 3, go to 5. If you're on 1, go to 3. Try to add on at least 2 extra posts per week. And post with intent. If you have laid out pillars on what to post, it then removes the thinking and makes you much more likely to do it repeatedly. And then finally, post with an outcome in mind. So when you go to sit down to write a post, are you saying, I want this post to get less impressions but more leads? Or are you saying to yourself, I want this post to get a lot of vanity metrics and impressions? One is not better than the other. You need a good mix. But when it comes to mix, you want to be doing 80% content that is helpful and 20% content that's self-promotional. So I'll give you an example. If you did 3 awareness posts per month, 1 authority post, aka humble brag, and 1 conversion post, that is a pretty good mix that will help drive leads over a period of 3 to 6 months. And I'm sorry to tell you, if 3 to 6 months of posting sounds too long, content may not be the best for you. Now, if you want to be part of a community of B2B founders growing together on LinkedIn, there's a link to our school group below in the comments. You can check out the page, see what we're about. Now, interestingly enough, if sales is your goal from LinkedIn in the next 90 days, you don't even need to post a single piece of content. In fact, I'd recommend you don't. And in my next video, I'll explain why and how you can get sales from LinkedIn in the next 90 days. See you there.